She trusts God, not man. That's her power. Listen up, daughter of the Most High. The world will tell you to rely on people, to seek approval, to chase validation, to put your trust in fragile hands. But the Word says something different. The Word says, it is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. Psalm 118:8. Man will fail you, people will change, promises will be broken, but God remains the same, yesterday, today, and forever. When storms rise, when friends turn away, when the world questions your faith, stand firm, stand unshaken, because your power is not in people, your power is in God Almighty. Her strength comes from above. She is not weak, she is not desperate, she does not beg for approval, because her confidence is in the one who holds all things together. The world says, trust in wealth, trust in status, trust in people, but she knows better. She walks by faith, not by sight. She doesn't lean on human wisdom, she leans on the rock that never moves, faith over fear. The enemy whispers, you need their support, you need their validation, but she laughs because she knows God is her provider, her protector, her source. When fear tries to creep in, she declares, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. If God is for me, who can be against me? Romans 8:31. She is unshaken, she is unbreakable. Because her faith is in the unshakable one, her power is her trust. She doesn't waver when trials come. She doesn't fall apart when things don't go her way. Because her trust is not in people, it's in God. She knows that even when doors close, even when hearts change, even when things seem uncertain, God is working all things for her good. When they doubt her, she trusts God. When they leave her, she trusts God. When they betray her, she trusts God, and that's her power. The world can't break her. She is not for sale. She is not easily swayed. The world can't manipulate her with promises of fame, money, or success, because she knows everything she needs comes from heaven. She refuses to bow to pressure. She refuses to trade her faith for approval. She walks boldly, she speaks truth, she stands tall, not because of who she is, but because of who her God is. Rise up, woman of God. The world is watching. The enemy is waiting, but she does not shrink back. She does not settle. She does not fear. She walks with divine confidence because she knows her hope is in God, her trust is in God, her power is in God, and that's why she wins. Now rise up, walk in faith, trust God alone, and watch Him move in your life. Her strength comes from above. It is not something the world can give her, and it is not something the world can take away. She does not draw her strength from people, circumstances, or fleeting emotions. She stands firm because her foundation is not of this earth. It is built on the rock that never moves. While others chase validation, she seeks the presence of God. While others lean on their own understanding, she trusts in the wisdom that comes from above. She is not swayed by opinions, not shaken by the storms of life, because she knows her help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. When trials come, she does not crumble. When people fail her, she does not fall apart, because she knows deep in her spirit that her strength is not her own. It is given to her by the one who holds all things together. She has faced moments where everything around her seemed to collapse. She has walked through seasons of pain, through betrayals, through disappointments that could have broken her. But instead of falling into despair, she pressed in deeper. She lifted her eyes to the heavens and cried out to the one who never fails. And in that surrender, she found power. The kind of power that does not come from physical strength or human will, but from complete trust in the Almighty. The world does not understand her strength. They see her standing when she should have fallen. They see her moving forward when she should have given up. They see her speaking with confidence when she should have been silenced by fear. They don't realize that it is not her own power that sustains her. She does not boast in her abilities, in her wisdom, in her endurance. She boasts in the Lord, for He is the one who upholds her with His mighty hand. Many have tried to find strength in things that fade, They put their trust in money only to watch it disappear. They place their security in relationships only to be left disappointed. They seek power in status only to find it does not satisfy. But she has learned a greater truth. Real strength comes from above. It is not found in external things. It is not found in what the world can offer. It is found in the quiet confidence of knowing that God is with her, that He fights for her, that He goes before her. There were times when she felt weak, times when she didn't know how she would make it through, but in those moments she remembered the words, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." And she realized that even in her lowest moments, even when she had nothing left to give, God's strength was enough. She did not have to rely on herself. She did not have to figure everything out. She only had to trust, to believe, to hold on to the unshakable truth that God would never leave her nor forsake her. When the enemy tried to whisper lies into her mind, telling her she was not enough, telling her she was too weak, she did not listen. She remembered who she was, a daughter of the Most High. She knew that her strength was not in herself, but in the one who called her by name. And so she stood, even when it was hard, even when everything in her wanted to quit, even when the weight of life pressed down on her. She refused to be crushed. She has seen what happens when people rely on their own strength. She has seen them rise, only to fall. She has seen them build, only to watch everything crumble. She has seen them fight, only to be defeated. But she has also seen what happens when someone puts their full trust in God. She has seen miracles happen. She has seen mountains move. She has seen chains break. And so she chooses to live differently. She chooses to walk by faith, not by sight. She chooses to believe in the unseen rather than be discouraged by what is in front of her. She knows that true strength is not about never feeling weak. It is about knowing where to turn when weakness comes. The world tells people to be self-sufficient, to be independent, to handle everything on their own, but she knows a better way. She knows that real power comes in surrender. When she lays down her burdens, when she releases her fears, when she trusts completely in God's plan, that is when she finds the greatest strength of all. People may look at her life and wonder how she keeps going. They may question how she remains joyful in the midst of hardship. They may not understand how she can walk through fire without being consumed. But she knows the answer. It is not her. It has never been her. It has always been God. He is her refuge, her fortress, her strong tower. When everything else is shaken, He remains. When the world changes, He stays the same. When others walk away, He stands by her side. She has learned to stop trying to fight battles in her own strength. She has learned to let go of the need to control everything. She has learned that when she places her life fully in God's hands, He does far more than she could ever do on her own, and so she rests in that truth. She does not waste her energy worrying about things she cannot change. She does not spend her days striving for things that do not last. Instead, she lifts her eyes and trusts in the one who holds her future. The enemy may try to attack, but he cannot win, because her strength does not come from the outside. It comes from within. It comes from the Spirit of God living inside her, guiding her, empowering her, making her unstoppable. She does not need to fear what is ahead. She does not need to be anxious about tomorrow. She walks with boldness, with confidence, because she knows who goes before her. Some will misunderstand her. Some will think she is foolish for trusting so completely. Some will question why she does not rely on human wisdom. But she does not let their doubts shake her. She does not let their opinions move her. She knows what she has experienced. She knows what God has done in her life, and she will not be moved. Her strength comes from above, and because of that, she is unshakable. She is unwavering. She is fearless. No matter what comes her way, no matter what trials she faces, she will keep standing. She will keep walking. She will keep believing, because she knows beyond any doubt that the one who is with her is greater than anything that comes against her. And so she rises. Every day she rises, not in her own strength, but in the strength that comes from above, and nothing can stop her. Nothing can break her. Nothing can take away the power she has in God, because He is her source. He is her foundation. He is her strength, and that is why she will always overcome. Faith over fear is not just a phrase. It is a way of life. It is a choice, a mindset, a battle that is fought every single day. Fear will always try to creep in, whispering lies, casting doubts, making you question everything you know to be true. But faith stands firm. Faith does not waver. Faith does not bow to fear, because faith knows who is in control. Fear says, "What if?" But faith says, "Even if." Fear says, "You're not enough." But faith says, "God is more than enough." Fear focuses on the problem, but faith focuses on the promise. She has faced moments where fear tried to take over, moments where the uncertainty of life seemed too overwhelming, where the weight of the unknown pressed down on her. Fear told her she wasn't going to make it. Fear told her she was alone. Fear told her to give up, to shrink back, to play it safe. But something deep inside her refused to listen. Something deep inside her knew that she was called to walk by faith, not by sight. She knew that fear was a liar, and she refused to let it control her. Faith is not the absence of fear. Faith is moving forward despite the fear. Faith is standing firm when everything in you wants to run. Faith is trusting in what you cannot see, believing in what you do not yet have, knowing that even in the darkness, God is still working. Faith is refusing to let emotions dictate your decisions. It is refusing to let circumstances determine your confidence. It is choosing to believe that God is bigger than whatever is trying to shake you. She has seen what happens when people let fear take over. She has seen dreams die before they even had a chance to live. She has seen people settle for less because they were too afraid to step into the unknown. She has seen gifts go unused, potential go wasted, callings go unanswered, all because fear convinced someone that they weren't capable. But she refuses to live that way. She refuses to be held back by fear. She refuses to let doubt have the final say. She has decided that no matter how hard it gets, no matter how impossible it seems, she will trust God. She will believe His promises. She will keep walking even when the path is unclear. Fear will always try to magnify the worst-case scenario. It will always try to keep her focused on what could go wrong, but faith lifts her eyes higher. Faith reminds her that she serves a God who makes a way where there is no way. Faith reminds her that He has never failed her before, and He won't start now. Faith reminds her that even when she doesn't understand, even when things don't go according to her plan, God's plan is still good. His ways are still higher. His promises are still true. She remembers the times she let fear hold her back, the times she stayed quiet when she should have spoken, the times she hesitated when she should have moved, the times she let doubt stop her from stepping into what she knew God was calling her to do. And she refuses to let fear steal another moment, another opportunity, another blessing. She refuses to live a life ruled by what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. She is choosing to trust, to believe, to step out in faith even when it's hard. Fear says, "What if you fail?" But faith says, "What if you fly?" Fear says, "What if you lose?" But faith says, "What if you win?" Fear says, "What if everything falls apart?" But faith says, "What if God is setting you up for something greater?" She knows that the enemy wants her to be afraid. He wants her to hesitate, to doubt, to stay stuck, because he knows that if she ever fully walks in faith, if she ever fully believes what God says about her, if she ever fully steps into her calling, nothing will be able to stop her. The truth is, faith requires risk. Faith requires stepping into the unknown. Faith requires trusting God even when the outcome is unclear. But she has learned that the safest place to be is in the center of His will. She has learned that even when it's uncomfortable, even when it doesn't make sense, obedience to God always leads to something greater. She has learned that fear may feel powerful in the moment, but it has no real power over her, because she belongs to the one who holds the universe in His hands. She belongs to the one who has already won the victory. She belongs to the one who speaks to storms and they obey. She refuses to let fear win. She refuses to let anxiety dictate her choices. She refuses to let the unknown keep her from stepping into the fullness of what God has for her. She knows that faith is not about never feeling afraid. It's about choosing to trust God more than she trusts her fears. It's about choosing to believe that He is good, that He is in control, that He is working all things together for her good. She knows that fear is loud, but faith doesn't have to be. Faith is steady. Faith is quiet confidence. Faith is waking up every morning and deciding that today she will trust God again. Today she will believe in His promises again. Today, she will keep walking, keep hoping, even when she doesn't see the way, even when she doesn't have all the answers, even when everything in her wants to give up. She knows that God has never left her, He has never forsaken her, and He never will. People will ask her how she stays so strong, how she keeps going when things get hard, how she doesn't let fear control her. And the answer is simple. She has learned to lean on the one who never fails. She has learned to stop carrying burdens that were never meant for her. She has learned to surrender, to trust, to let go of the need to have everything figured out, because she knows that God is already ahead of her. He is already working. He is already making a way. She knows that the enemy will try to bring fear again. He will try to plant seeds of doubt. He will try to make her question, make her hesitate, make her shrink back. But she has already decided. She will not be moved. She will not be shaken. She will not let fear win. Because her faith is bigger than her fear. Her God is greater than anything she faces. And as long as she keeps her eyes on Him, as long as she keeps trusting, as long as she keeps moving forward in obedience, she knows she will never be defeated. So she stands firm. She walks in faith. She refuses to let fear have a place in her life, because she knows who she is. She knows whose she is. And she knows that the one who is with her is greater than anything that comes against her. Her power is her trust. It is not in what she has, not in who she knows, not in what she can do. Her power is not in money, not in status, not in the opinions of others. Her power is in her unwavering, unshakable trust in God. It is the foundation of her life, the thing that carries her through the storms, the force that makes her unstoppable. The world may look at her and not understand. They may wonder how she keeps going, how she keeps believing, how she keeps standing when everything around her is trying to pull her down. But she knows the secret. She does not stand on her own. She stands because she trusts in the one who holds her up. Trust is not just something she talks about. It is something she lives. It is something she chooses every single day. When the world gives her reasons to doubt, she chooses to believe. When circumstances tell her to give up, she chooses to hold on. When fear whispers in her ear, she chooses faith instead. This trust is not blind. It is built on a history of seeing God move in her life. She remembers the battles He has already won for her. She remembers the doors He has already opened. She remembers the prayers He has already answered, and because of that, she refuses to doubt Him now. There was a time when she tried to rely on her own strength, a time when she thought she had to have all the answers, when she thought she had to figure everything out on her own. But that life was exhausting. It was draining. It left her anxious, worried, and constantly striving for something that always seemed just out of reach. But when she learned to trust, when she learned to surrender, everything changed. She realized that she was never meant to carry the weight of the world on her shoulders. She was never meant to live in constant fear of the unknown. She was never meant to try and control things that were never in her hands to begin with. And when she let go, when she truly placed everything in God's hands, that's when she found her power. The world teaches people to rely on themselves, to trust in their own abilities, to make their own way. But she knows a better way. She knows that the greatest strength comes not from independence, but from complete dependence on God. She does not have to know what's next. She does not have to have all the answers. She does not have to see the whole path ahead of her. All she has to do is trust. All she has to do is take the next step in faith. All she has to do is believe that God is leading her, guiding her, making a way where there seems to be no way. She has been through trials that should have broken her. She has faced situations that should have left her hopeless, but her trust in God carried her through. When the world said it was over, God said, "I am just getting started." When the enemy tried to make her doubt, God reminded her of his faithfulness. When fear tried to take over, God gave her peace that made no sense. She has learned that trusting God does not mean everything will be easy. It does not mean there will never be pain, never be loss, never be moments of uncertainty, but it does mean that no matter what comes, she is never alone. No matter what happens, she is never without hope. No matter how hard it gets, she is always held in the hands of the one who never fails. There were times when people told her she was crazy for trusting so much. They told her she needed a backup plan, a safety net, something to fall back on. But she knows that God is her backup plan. God is her safety net. God is the solid rock beneath her feet. She does not need to waver between trust and doubt, between faith and fear. She does not need to hesitate, to second guess, to wonder if she is making the right choice, because trusting God is always the right choice, even when she doesn't understand, even when the road ahead is unclear, even when the waiting is long and the answers don't come right away. She knows that God is still in control, still working, still writing a story far greater than anything she could ever imagine. The world can't break her. It has tried. It has thrown storms her way, tried to shake her foundation, tried to crush her under the weight of hardship, pain, and disappointment. The world has whispered lies, telling her she is not strong enough, not capable enough, not worthy enough. It has tried to make her doubt, tried to make her question everything she stands for, tried to make her believe that she is too weak to keep going. But the world does not know who she is. The world does not know the power that lives within her. The world does not know that she is unbreakable because she does not stand on her own. She has faced battles that should have defeated her. She has walked through fires that should have consumed her. She has been through storms that should have drowned her. And yet she is still here, still standing, still fighting, still believing. The world threw its best at her, but it wasn't enough. Because her strength is not her own. Her power does not come from what she can do, what she has, or who she knows. Her power comes from above. It comes from the one who holds her together when everything else is falling apart. It comes from the one who lifts her up when life tries to drag her down. It comes from the one who has already overcome the world, and because of that she knows she can overcome anything. She has seen people break under the pressure of life. She has watched them give up, walk away, let the weight of the world crush them. But she refuses to live that way. She refuses to let life defeat her. She refuses to let circumstances dictate her joy. She refuses to let trials steal her peace. She knows that no matter what happens, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how dark the night may seem, she is never alone. She knows that her battles are not fought in her own strength, and that is why she cannot lose. The world has tried to silence her voice, but she refuses to be quiet. It has tried to steal her faith, but she refuses to let go. It has tried to make her live in fear, but she stands in courage. The world has underestimated her because it does not understand what she carries inside of her. It sees her struggles, but it does not see the power working within her. It sees her wounds, but it does not see the healing happening beneath the surface. It sees her fight, but it does not realize she has already won. She has learned that life is not about avoiding the battle. It is about knowing who is fighting with her. It is about knowing that she does not have to do this alone. It is about knowing that she does not have to be the strongest, the smartest, or the most capable. She only has to trust, to believe, to keep going even when it is hard. She has learned that pain is not the end of the story, that heartbreak is not the final chapter, that trials are not meant to break her, but to make her stronger. She has learned that every struggle, every difficulty, every moment of suffering is refining her, shaping her, turning her into the woman she was always meant to be. The world has tried to make her believe she is not enough, that she is too broken, too weak, too far gone. But she knows the truth. She knows that she is more than enough, because she is made for more than this world. She knows that her past does not define her, that her failures do not disqualify her, that her pain is not pointless. She knows that even when she does not understand, even when she cannot see the way, she is still being led, still being carried, still being strengthened for what is ahead. She does not live for the approval of the world, and that is why the world cannot break her. She does not need its validation, its applause, its acceptance. She knows that people's opinions change, that circumstances shift, that nothing in this life is certain except for one thing: her foundation will never be shaken. The world may try to move her, but she is unmovable. The world may try to stop her, but she is unstoppable. The world may try to break her, but she is unbreakable. She has walked through seasons of loss, of pain, of uncertainty. She has had moments where everything seemed to be falling apart, where nothing made sense, where the weight of it all felt unbearable. But through it all, she never stopped believing. She never let go of her faith. She never allowed the darkness to consume her. She may have had moments of weakness, moments of doubt, moments where she wanted to give up, but she never stayed there. She never let the enemy win. She never let the battle defeat her. There were times when people walked away from her, but she never walked away from God. There were times when she felt alone, but she was never truly alone. There were times when she did not have the strength to take another step, but she kept moving forward anyway, because she knows that even when she is weak, she is still strong. Even when she feels empty, she is still full of purpose. Even when she is broken, she is still whole, because her strength is not of this world. Her peace is not of this world. Her hope is not of this world. She does not fear what is ahead because she knows who is leading her. She does not let worry consume her because she knows who holds her future. She does not let trials shake her because she knows that every battle has already been won. She does not waste time trying to fight in her own strength because she knows that true strength comes from surrender. She has learned that real power is not in controlling everything but in trusting completely. It is not in striving but in resting. It is not in fighting but in standing firm, knowing that she is already victorious. The world will keep trying to test her. It will keep throwing obstacles in her path. It will keep trying to make her fall, to make her doubt, to make her give up. But it will not win, because she is stronger than the struggle. She is greater than the pain. She is more than what the world tries to label her as. She knows that no matter what comes, no matter what she faces, no matter how hard it gets, she is already standing in victory. She has been through too much to turn back now. She has fought too hard to give up now. She has come too far to let anything stop her now. The world may not understand her, but that does not matter. She does not live for the world. She does not depend on the world. She does not find her worth in the world. She knows where her strength comes from, and that is why she will always rise. That is why she will always keep going. That is why no matter what the world does, it will never break her.